Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Midwest Mindset. And look who's back. Our guy.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Brett is back and excited to, as you can see, I'm on spring break. Brett's heading to spring break. We're recording this on the final day of the quarter. But Brett, why don't you just update everybody on what's been going on? You said you've had a crazy first quarter. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good balance. But the pendulum kind of swung a little bit towards work this first quarter. We just kind of knew it was a really crucial beginning to a crucial year. So I've been pretty focused, and things have moved in the right direction. We'll just say that. So it's been kind of a roller coaster ride getting the plane off the ground, but it seems to be kind of trending in the right way. So it's been a lot of work and all worth it. And like Paul, you and I always talk about, it's like one step at a time, slowly, small wins. And I've had to remind other people of that, right? Controlling the controllables. Actually, there's a lot of things in there about that control piece that we could talk about too, that I've been reading about. But yeah, it's just trying to control what you can control and those small wins, and it's starting to pay off. So it's been fun, and the kids are good too. So go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but you were just for context. No. So this is a startup company that you're involved in, and you know, like you were talking about your Mayo win. You know what I mean? Like people have fallen off with startup companies. It's so difficult, right? Because it's, you know what I mean. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of pressure, and people don't always stick around, right?
Yeah, but it's hard. Everybody's got their own plate, and everybody's got their own. Some people go into it with their eyes open. Some people go into it and go, "Hey, I'm going to give it a year, and if it's not working for me, I'm going to move on." And things come up, right? But for me, It's been a head down, focus on this. I've learned so much. Really, you're building something that nobody would even know about the company if I wasn't here and my colleagues weren't helping. Like nobody would even know. So it's a very much a grassroots effort, and you kind of the cards are really stacked against you to be successful. And I think you're similar to me, where it's like, okay, well, that sounds like a huge challenge. I'm in. I'm in. Let's go. And we've got a fun team that all the way from the top to the bottom, like not even a bottom. I should say it's just flat. Like everybody's on the team. And I actually had a huge win this week, and I got a phone call from our VP, area VP, our national sales, VP of sales. It's all going up to the CEO. Like he knows everything going on. So it's very much that's really fun, and that's cool that you get that kind of that's not even I'm not going to say just that spotlight, I guess, but it's also you better figure it out because everybody's watching. So it's only the pressure you put on yourself, and I do that a lot too. So that would be something I could get better at. But it's also because I've had some experience with that, right? I know you have.
My first into ophthalmology, first piece into ophthalmology was a startup, and man, I'm telling you, there was a little. There's always a little bit of anxiety with the unknown, right? But then they're like, all right, do we have money? Is there money that can we keep going? Can you pay the paychecks? And then all of a sudden going to the full extreme to all of a sudden getting bought out. Like we got bought out. And but building something from the ground up, man, there's a lot of anxiety, like I said, but so much reward, right? Like so much fun.
Yeah.
Those small little wins, and like you said, you got, and yours is a big sale. It's a big ticket too. So getting one patient on this not only helps the patient tremendously, but is a big win for the future of this product and this company, right?
And I'll tell you what, Paul, you're absolutely right. And it's about it really is the disease state has never had a treatment for it. So you're not really a treatment that has been studied in a phase 3 trial and gotten through. And a couple were approved, and we're still building the market in a way. We're still educating. There's still a lot of these patients that are out there that aren't doing as well as they could be. And that really is what drives me every single day, is to help one of these patients to live a complete life, because they're young patients and they don't think about, 10 years from now where I'm going to be. And that's part of what we're trying to do too, is like kind of change that paradigm. So it's been really cool. Yeah, it's been cool. So
that's awesome, man. That's cool. There's like you said, the controlling the controllables though, like because you must have had many different setbacks or many different kind of, not necessarily slam doors, but closed doors to you that you overcame, through this process.
Yeah, many. Just I can't even. When you get the email, it's like I don't want to talk to you at all. Like it's like no interest at all. It's like, okay, I guess that one's closed for a while. How about I make a note to get back to you in a year? How about that? Can I do that? Yeah, sure. Right. And then you get the opposite of that, where someone's proactively reaching out to you, which happens once in a blue moon. And but it does happen. And they're like, hey, I really want to hear about this. It's like, yeah, you do. All right, let's go. Everybody wants to hear about it. What are you talking about? Of course you want to hear about it.
Of course you do, because I'm just the guy for it. Yeah, absolutely. That sounded. That sounded. But
it's
like
a lot of teamwork, collaboration with you got the medical side, the commercial side. Everybody's got to be on the same page, and I think that's the biggest thing, is everybody's pulling the rope. And it goes back to to our fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And I'd say right here, prioritizing learning over seeking approval. And I would say when other people succeed, I don't know if this one's on here, but it's that when other people succeed, you have to use that to fill your cup. You have to use that as motivation for you, and not in a way that's like, oh crap, like I'm not as good as that person. I mean, we get childish in our minds, right? So it's when other people succeed, look at it as like, great, what did you do? Like, what did you do? Help me.
Right.
Like, or does that person know this person that they can call? And maybe that's a way I can get in, because you got to check your ego at the door. I think for anything really, but.
Well, if you listen to the Daily Stoic this morning, it's the quote that I wrote down this morning: being strict with yourself, and forgiving of others.
Beautiful. 100%, brother.
It talks about it all the time, right? Like especially when we're talking about, doing a new startup, like you said, it's a team and everything like that. Somebody might be letting down their particular side. They might be going through something, whatever. That we can't control that. Be strict with ourselves and be forgiving of people, and show empathy towards somebody else when they fall or make mistakes and stuff like that. Because, through the long, you're going to be better off if you do that, right? You can't control how everybody else is going to show up. Being strict with yourself, you're showing up for yourself. I don't know. That one just kind of really was like the big beacon this morning, listening to that. What are your thoughts?
Here we go, Paul, because I'm reading The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, and that's Ryan Holiday's mentor, right? And this one is just, the book's like this, right? It's just thick. And I'll sit down, when I get up early, which is, like every day now, I read that, and it's like, he was talking about empathy and just proactive empathy, and how we have to be empathetic, because in our core, every person is we're not born empathetic. We're born to survive, and we're born to, really like fight or flight. And we have to fight for what we have, but the way that we stop, we're all narcissistic at our core. And that, it actually caught me off guard when I read that. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a narcissist.
Right.
And then, as you continue to read, it's like, no, you must show proactive empathy and learn empathy, and really for others, because that's how ego is the enemy. That is how you become empathetic, is just helping other people. And otherwise we would
showing
all be
forgiveness, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Forgiveness to others. Everybody assume positive intent. 100%.
This is so funny though, that right now, that in the middle, like we haven't really chatted for a while, right? We've had a little bit, like we've been busy. We've had a lot of stuff going on. We pick right back up, and at the same time, we're both reading a Robert Greene book. I'm reading 48 Laws of Power right now.
I'm great. Okay.
It's interesting. It's very interesting because I'm trying to like incorporate, I obviously joined the city council in my hometown. And so I'm learning kind of some of the politics and stuff like that. So this 48 Laws of Power is very interesting. And it's more just from a understanding and being curious on how certain, and he's got great stories in there. He's a great storyteller, Robert Greene. But what's the name of your book? What's the name of your title again?
Laws of Human Nature.
Okay, Laws of Human Nature. Okay, yeah.
48 Laws of Power is that's my next book from him that I'm going to read.
It's another one. It's like real thick.
When it showed up, I thought I thought they sent me a phone book, Minneapolis. I was like, what the hell?
I know.
It's
intimidating.
It's
really intimidating, good. But there's nothing better than when all of a sudden you just open it up and you sit down and you have a cup of coffee maybe, and all of a sudden you're reading, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I just blew through 25 pages. You know what I mean? Because it goes by. Yeah. Totally, oh, that's funny. Totally.
He is a great storyteller. I can see where Ryan Holiday kind of got that ties in that storytelling to his lessons in a way.
Yeah. Well, so just for the listener right now, that's not sitting with us, is that Robert Greene was the mentor for Ryan Holiday, who writes around Stoicism, and really kind of got Ryan. Well, he's not really the person who got him into Stoicism, but really Ryan Holiday did a ton of he was his mentee and did a ton of research for Robert Greene when he was writing a lot of these books.
Well, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. And then now they've become really close friends, and now they collaborate. Quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay. I just knew that when he was at American Apparel, he called Robert Greene and said, "I think I want to become a writer," and that was a big crucial conversation that those guys had. But I had no idea he did a lot of the research for Robert Greene. That's interesting.
He went to, and so he said, "I want to be a writer," and then he became a mentee of him and kind of shadowed him.
Gotcha.
And then helped do, I think, from what I remember, the stories they've interacted with, he did a lot of research for him.
Cool. Awesome, man. Hey, I don't want to hijack the podcast today either, man. So what do we want to get into? What are we talking about?
This is great. Well, I mean, first of all, that was awesome. It was a great chatting with you. So anytime I can get with you, this is all good. But Paul, of course. As you could see, I have my beautiful flower tree behind me here. I'm recharging my batteries. I'm kind of in this whole idea of recharge, reset, reconnect. And you're about to do this, right? You're about to go on spring break with your family. And it sounds like just an exotic of a place as mine, but I'm down here in Florida. So I guess the topic was really around that, just like how do you recharge? How do we reset? How do we reconnect? So recharge is the first one. Just if that comes to mind, I just think right away of just the phrase "slow down to speed up." Like I have to tell myself this. I don't know what you are, but when I think about recharging, like I have found now that when I start planning out my day and I have all these things going on, I can get myself wound up because I'm like, I want to do this. I have to get my run in. Then I have to do this. I start saying have to, should do, need to. And I hate that vernacular. I try to reduce that. So what do? Slow down. I'll even do some breathing exercises or even a little meditation, believe me or not, which is hard for me to slow down to do that. But I found that I show up better when I do that. So slow down to speed up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I 100%. I'm writing things down because I got the agenda here, and I'm writing it down because this is really good for me because the first quarter's been crazy, and I really am looking forward to next week and slowing down. And I'll be one of the only ones on vacation, so it's like I'm going to have to really focus on that because it's not like everybody's getting a week off next week. Just me. So for me, it's going to be slowing down by just putting the phone on silent and just leaving it be. Don't check the email all the time, constant, because I just can't do that. I shouldn't do that. This first quarter, I gave myself a lot of rope to do that, and I have to really start to reset and get back to the things that have been good for me for recharging and having that energy. I feel like this is a huge sprint, and now I like if I was going to use like a runner analogy, and it's like now I got to kind of just dial it back a little bit. And yeah, so I completely hear you. For me, it's the phone and the email. I'll check it in the morning. I'm going to check it at night. That's all I'm going to do for the next week. And I got to hold myself to that. And then I'm going to journal. So I haven't really finalized my journal, like what I want to do, I guess, but I do want to do a recap of first quarter and the successes that I've had. And then also what I want to do going forward here for the final 75% of the year, you know, like what does that look like from a family perspective? I think Leah and I are talking about, we got to have more of a set like family meeting on Sundays and really sit down and just kind of narrow things out, or kind of just how was the week. And yeah, we got to get back into doing more of that. Yeah. Sunday mornings over coffee is how we're gonna roll. So yep, you're totally right. And this will be a great way to do it with the week coming up. So yeah. Yeah, man. And awesome. Trying to have some fun. We're going to Mall of America, and you know, it's a 10-minute drive. It's a huge road trip. I think we're gonna be all right. And the kids have no idea that we're going there. So, you know, they're 6 and 3. So on Monday morning, the plan is like, well, no school, you know, so what do you guys, you know, we this was our idea. Get in the car, go pack your bags. Like,
and they don't know about it. It's a surprise.
No, they don't have a clue. No, it's funny.
It's so funny, especially because they're so, like, you know what I mean? They're so young and just energetic and excited. Those little wins, those little surprises. I guarantee you, like, I mean, we're sitting around the table now. My kids are a senior and a sophomore. They start talking. They're when we're all talking, they start telling stories about times like that. When we did that, you know, really? We surprised them, went to Disney World one day, you know what I mean? Like, did that whole thing. The little surprise trips. It could be really small and minute, but so impactful. Good for you.
That's cool. That's awesome. All right. Good. Yeah. It's hard for me though, because I want to tell them. I mean, I really do.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
But it's better. It's better for the surprise. Yeah.
I love that. And just to kind of conclude the recharge thing, I think the one thing I heard from your example and mine too is recharging ourselves both mentally and physically, right? Like all of a sudden we can get, you know, whole first quarter, it was busy. We're doing all these numbers, everything, you're running active. And then all of a sudden it's also like, all right, am I getting my workouts in? Am I, you know what I mean? You know, mentally, am I slowing down to make sure that am I reading again? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that book that you started in January, you slowly kind of let it go. Like, all right, like now's that check-in to kind of do that, I think is perfect. So totally.
That's what spring break's for. And I way more focused on what's important. So yes, 100%.
Right.
What's next, Paul? What else we got?
Reset. So reset. So for me, this is where I wrote down the quote: being strict with yourself and forgiving with others. So being strict with myself. All right. So the reset part of what I'm doing this week is all right, what hard work do I need to do? Like, how do I set, you know, in the next 3 months, the next quarter? What am I looking for? You know, where's that reset? What does that look like? And once again, for things that I can control, the things that I can change, that's dialing into, you know, my eating has been pretty solid. How can I tune that up a little bit? I'm starting to run again. I ran 4 miles the other day. I ran 2 miles today. My knees, I'm 1 year after surgery. I'm good. So reset, what is that 10-mile run that I want to run in May? So I'm trying to find a run in May to run 10 miles.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's great, buddy. Congrats.
So, well, once again, I have to set it up, but yeah, no, I'm excited. I forget how much fun and how much energy I get from just running.
Yeah, right.
Because I couldn't do it for a full year.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a full reset then. That's 1 year reset of your running expectations. So, and congrats to getting 4 in. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Yeah,
it's a huge deal.
It was fun. It was real slow.
Yeah.
It was really slow. But once again, I'm just excited to be back out running again. This is kind of maybe a stupid story, but Jess and I were down here. We've been down here for about 4 or 5 days, and I'm like, why are my fingernails feel like they're growing so fast? You know what I mean? And I'm like, and so they're like, well, there's got to be something with all the vitamin D that we're getting and all the sunshine because we're outside, and I guess there is some. I don't know if there is or not, and I don't know the science behind it. But I was like, it was just like, it was so exciting to be outside running again and doing things that first I haven't been able to do for a year. And second of all, to be outside. So that's what I love about this whole reset. It's like, all right, reset myself and what's the new baseline. So how about you?
That's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. Reset for me, it's I'm not going anywhere tropical. I hope we get some sun, but Mall of America is going to be fun because I'm going to be a kid. My goal is to just be a kid with the kids, ride the rides, reset mentally, don't focus anything on work, and just be a kid. I think deep down I am like that. Traditionally that's kind of my character, is to be very much a kid. Like if I go to the hockey practice with the kids, and I'm actually going to coach next year too, which is awesome.
Good for you.
But kids come off, and I come off the ice, and I'm just like out of reaction. It's like high five, all the kids. Good practice, It's like people are like, who the hell is his dad? Like, what's his dad doing? But I can do that still at Mall of America, like just run around with the kids. That's going to be part of the deal for the first 2 days. So I'm excited. We're starting our spring break that way. I think resetting expectations for Leah and I for the next, again, like for the rest of the year, as her business starts to ramp up, what does she need from me? How's the week going in the mornings, and then at night drop off and pick up, because we're at those ages where they can't get around unless they've got us, right? So those are ways like, what do you need more from me? So I think it's going to be a great way to reset our relationship too, and set those expectations, and then resetting the relationship with my kiddos too, and just really taking a time to pause, be present with them, look at how large Lewis's feet are now and how tall he's gotten. I mean, I'm joking, but it's true. I look at him, I'm like, what the hell? He's like he sat on my lap the other day, and I felt like the dad from Elf. I'm like, what? The movie Elf, where he's like,
I love that one.
Just like,
Bob
sitting on him, like,
was it Bob Newhart, or that's the character? But
Papa Elf.
Papa Elf, for sure. Wow, that's awesome.
How I felt, man. Oh yeah, so it's funny, and then just really resetting, and that's, I don't know if that makes any sense. I think it does. It's more family reset for me. So
yeah. No, I totally get it. Well, and like you said, because you've also been so focused on, and not that you weren't with the family, but I mean, the first quarter band, you're going at work and doing all that. So it's checking in. Well, and then leads us right into the last one very well. So reconnect. So I said,
there we go.
And then reconnect. And so mine was, the quote that I just wrote down was, you're the product of your training. They say this a lot in the military, that, you know what I mean? It's not, you show up as a product of all the training. Like that's how, that tells you whether you're going to be successful or not. So it's reconnecting with my training, reconnecting with my mindfulness on how I'm showing up, my business, how that's going, like, do a little reevaluation, but then reconnecting with that. How do I reconnect? Kind of what you were talking about with you and Leah on the Sunday morning thing. Be a little bit more structured with how I'm reconnecting with, family, my mindset business, and even my Genentech business, you know what I mean, as well. And controlling those things, because once again, you're the product of your training. So just dialing in that training.
You make a good point there, and I think I talked about reconnect, but also reconnecting with myself and what are my priorities now, and not allowing someone else's. And this is something out of it that I've been reading. Actually, blurbs of a lot of books now. And Essentialism is another book that I just listened to, and he talks about, prioritize your life, or someone else will prioritize it for you. And it's like, that's where it's important for me to step back and go, all right, do I have my priorities in place? List them all out. What's the most important? Obviously family, but it's reconnecting there too, as to what have I been lacking on, and bring that stuff up to the top, and really, really put a plan together for myself. So you really make a good point there, because it's mind, body, soul. We got to get back to that mind, body, soul.
Back to that, right?
So,
and it's funny because my journaling could be better, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna reconnect with that. But you just hit on something when you talk about plan in this essentialism, plan your time, or somebody else will plan it for you. And that's one thing I want to be very cognizant of kind of heading into this next quarter, is that, I've said yes to a lot of things, right? I'm going to do the city council. I'm doing all these different things, making sure that saying no to other things is very important. The power of saying no allows me the freedom to have, to own my time. And that's the most precious thing we have, right? We talk about family, work, all this life balance, but time is the best value that we have. So prioritizing that and not letting somebody else prioritize that, to your quote, that's something I get to do now.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you do. We get to, buddy. This is awesome.
We get to.
Man.
Awesome. Well, man, this was so great to have you back. It was so good to see you again. Just and your new hat. Is this year's hat?
This is this year's hat. Yeah, it didn't do anything yesterday. I almost burned it. They lost 4-0, but the Twins won. So that's
Twins
good.
won, home opener. Yep.
Yeah, that Lopez guy, what he had, threw a 2-hitter or something. I mean, that's great.
I didn't see that.
He was the guy they traded a rise for. That guy who was a real good player. They traded a rise to get this. I think, as my neighbor was telling me.
Okay.
He's like, I don't know who this pitcher is. We'll see how he is. And threw a 2-hitter. I mean, that's pretty bad. It was a Royal, but.
Yeah, it was the Royal, so it wasn't that. But the Brewers, man, I really do like the hats, because you still get a new hat every year, right? That was your whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's the new one, so it's
nice.
Black. Leah said get a black one because you don't have a black hat. So there we go. Yep.
There you go. Now you have a black hat. Well, man, this was awesome. So good to chat with you, and I can't wait for the next quarter for both you and I.
Let's do it, Paul.
All right, man. I'm going to stop the recording.